So earlier you said it wasn't our job with your friends to help them get into alignment, or if they come to you and they're in a very low place, it's not our job to.
If they're really at a low place, you have to sort of calibrate there to have any real communication. So you work well with other people when you're doing the step one part. You can commiserate and complain or even contemplate, and a lot of good stuff can come from that. But it's more like reinforcing the problem and the question than it is receiving the solution and the answer.
I was going to ask, what if it is our job? Because I'm a therapist, and a lot of people come to me in that place.
Would say you have a flawed understanding of what your job is.
Okay, so one moment.
We know. You can explain it to us. We know. So
I do teach my clients about vibration and law of attraction, and I'm always teaching them to reach for the better feeling thought in whatever.
And have you noticed that some of them are more ready to do that in a moment in time than others?
Question.
So you have awareness.
Yes.
What you want to do is be as much like their inner being is with them as you can. So when they feel negative emotion, that means that they're not lining up with their inner being. Their inner being doesn't disappear, doesn't give up, and doesn't try hard to convince them either. Because the harder you try to get somebody to understand something that's not really clicking with it, the more they, even often without meaning to, dig in to try to support their position that they believe is right. This is something that humans do almost 100%. Not 100% of the time, but 100% of humans do this from time to time, and some a lot more than others. You want to be right. You want to be right. And so even if you're standing in a place that you don't want to be, you want to explain how you got there, because you don't want to be seen as having made any mistakes. And so if you could help anybody that you're working with, playing with, loving with, to understand that it's not about being right and wrong, it's about finding the path to what feels the best to them, often they come around faster.
So not talking about, because I've heard you so many times talk to, soothe someone into better alignment by, okay, thank you. Soothe someone into better alignment by asking them really general questions. Do you believe that we live in a vibrational universe? And they say yes. And I have a lot of clients who wouldn't even agree with that.
We're going to take it even further. Step back from your role as a teacher. You are to the core of your being. As an uplifter, you are to the core of your being. As a therapist, you are. In other words, step back from that role for just a moment. And realize that with everyone, whether they're with you with that intention of receiving some kind of clarity from you, or whether it's someone that you live with, somebody that you live next door to, somebody that you work with in other ways, or just a stranger that you're meeting somewhere, realize that, you know how we were saying, you feel how you feel, and you're getting what you're feeling. You're transmitting, and law of attraction is answering that transmission constantly. So here you are, and let's say it's a random person who pushes ahead of you and gets the grocery cart that you were just about to reach for, and is kind of even oblivious that you were there, and you have an opinion about that, and you feel discomfort. The reason you feel discomfort is because your inner being just saw them get a cart. Your inner being isn't trying to make it something, but maybe ever since you were little, you were taught to be polite, especially if it's an older person, or especially if it's a needy person. You've been taught to give way to those that you see as less capable. So you've got this vibe going on that almost everybody has going on, that goes something like, I do this for you because I see you cannot do that for yourself. Well, that is the most offensive vibrational statement that you ever make to anyone. Don't Abraham me, is the way Esther often feels about it. She doesn't even want to Abraham anybody. But what you begin to realize is you're broadcasting and you're evoking, and you're broadcasting and you're evoking, and you're broadcasting and you're evoking. Segment intending is before you get out there to mix it up with someone, especially in a setting like in your work. You're wanting to get out ahead of it by acknowledging that you have awareness, because you can tune into that broader perspective, and that you want to be tuned into that broader perspective so that you're sensitive to where someone is, because in the moment that they get defensive, you're done for now. You not only want to feel good, you want them to join you in feeling good. And that doesn't mean joining your religion, although a lot of people think that it does. I'm going to teach you how to think the right way. No, you're not. All you're going to do is demonstrate as best you can the harmony that you've discovered. And if they like what they see, they might ask you the questions that help you comfortably lead them to that. But the most important thing that you want to know is they're not broken and they're not wrong. You want to see them like their inner being sees them, no matter what they're telling you. But they come. You see, they're in on this too. They come and they explain to you all the ways they're broken. You hear it even when people sit in the hot seat here, arguing for their limitations and wanting to explain why they're where they are. So here's a handful of things for you to remember. People are where they are, but they have a vortex that's calling them. And often the discord they feel is because they want to go that way. And their inner being wants them to go that way. And you want them to go that way in alignment with what they want. And so you're thinking path of least resistance, path of least resistance. You're not thinking right, wrong. You don't want to ask them lots of questions that cause them to activate a bunch of stuff about what is. Or worse, explain how they got there. Well, it was my mother, or it was a past life. People have a lot of ways of defending why things aren't going better. And there's only one reason that things aren't going better. Their gate sensors just aren't hooked up. That's all. It's really simple. Just fiddle with it until it lights up. So you just fiddle with the things you're thinking about until you feel better. That's all it is. Just fiddle with it till you feel better.
Choose your own adventure.
Everybody must. What we really want to say to you is you be ready to be ready to be ready by understanding all of this. And we know you do. There's not one thing we said to you that you don't know, and that you don't speak, and that you don't teach. Just don't try to teach people things that they're not ready for. Nobody needs this. Nobody needs this approach to their life. If they don't find it this way, they'll find it some way if they want it. In other words, there's not one way. There are endless ways. People have this saying, they say that I feel like I got to the dock and my ship had already sailed, and we say there's another and 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 another. Your inner being never runs out of great ideas that might just feel like the right path for you. And so here's the way we would look at it. Oh, this magnificent now, this opportunity to engage right now, this opportunity for me to tune into who I am, and you to tune in or not, but me to tune into who I am, and you to tune in or not, but me to tune into who I am. Because when I'm tuned in, this is a good experience for me. And it'll be the experience that you allow it to be. But you'll just be so amazed at when that's what you care about, how often it's the best experience for them. And they'll leave and somebody will say, how did it go? And they'll say, great. I feel so much better. And they'll say, what do you learn? And they'll say, I have no idea. I don't know. They can't connect the dots yet. They just know that they feel better. They just know that they feel better. And the reason they feel better is because you felt good and you were with them. You felt good and you were with them. That's all any of us have. You feel good and you are in the presence of someone who is observing you in some way. That's what upliftment is. Because there's no assertion. There's only attraction. Yeah?
Yes.
You're doing really well. And the world is fortunate to have you.